Here's the thing. For David's sake, Christine has to destroy my character, or David doesn't feel like he can marry her because she left a good man.
Kody Brown just accused Christine of character assassination in a People magazine exclusive, and the accusation is absolutely wild. According to Kody, Christine had to destroy my character so David Woolley could feel comfortable stepping into their relationship, not influence public opinion, not share her side of the story, actively destroy his reputation so another man could love her. The audacity of this statement hits different when you realize what he's actually claiming.
I'm not a bad guy. Christine and I were just not in a good marriage.
I mean, I met David.
Yeah.
I don't think he feels that way at all.
I vetted
And
Robin
that's
differently than that. I vetted Robin hard because I had to know that she didn't leave a good man.
Kody is suggesting that Christine couldn't attract or keep David Woolley without first demolishing her ex-husband's public image. That David Woolley, a grown man with his own successful life, needed Christine to trash-talk her former marriage before he could commit to her. The implications are staggering. This isn't Kody acknowledging that maybe, just maybe, his behavior during their marriage gave Christine legitimate grievances to share. This is Kody positioning himself as the victim of a calculated smear campaign designed to make David feel secure. He's essentially arguing that Christine's honesty about their relationship was actually manipulation aimed at her new partner. The timing of this, People exclusive, feels deliberate too. Right before the new Sister Wives season drops, Kody's out here controlling the narrative, painting Christine as someone who destroys reputations for personal gain. He's not just defending himself, he's actively trying to undermine her credibility with the man she's chosen to build a life with. But here's what makes this accusation even more loaded.
You're still a good man, even though Christine left.
She needs to stop telling my children I'm not then.
Well, I'm just going to
I'm
tell
not
you,
going to let that go ever.
Okay, but I'm telling you, I met David, and he doesn't think ill of you.
I hope Christine is choosing well.
Kody isn't just claiming Christine lied about him. He's claiming she had to lie about him for David to want her. That's not defending his reputation. That's questioning whether Christine is worthy of love without tearing someone else down first. And David Woolley, he's caught square in the middle of this public character assassination accusation, whether he asked for it or not. Kody's victim narrative runs deeper than just defending his reputation. He's rewriting the entire story of why their marriage ended. In his People exclusive, he insisted he isn't a bad guy, just someone whose marriage didn't work out, as if 20+ years of documented relationship dynamics were simply incompatible personalities rather than patterns of behavior. This framing is masterful manipulation disguised as reasonable explanation. By reducing their marriage to it didn't work out, Kody erases every specific grievance Christine has shared publicly. Her complaints about feeling neglected, unheard, or undervalued. According to this narrative, those weren't legitimate experiences. They were character destruction tools she wielded to clear the path for David. The phrase ripped apart that Kody used to describe what Christine allegedly did to his reputation is particularly telling. Not criticized, not held accountable, not honest about ripped apart. This language suggests violence, deliberate cruelty, systematic destruction. He's painting Christine as someone who took pleasure in demolishing him, rather than someone who finally found the courage to speak her truth. But the most revealing part of Kody's statement might be his parting shot about David. I just hope she's chosen well. On the surface, this sounds like begrudging good wishes. Dig deeper, and it's loaded with implications about David's judgment, Christine's pattern of choices, and whether this new relationship can possibly succeed when it's built on what Kody claims is his destroyed reputation. This isn't a man who's moved on from his failed marriage. This is a man who's watching his ex-wife thrive with someone else and can't process that reality without making himself the victim of her happiness. Every successful moment in Christine's new relationship becomes, in Kody's mind, evidence of how thoroughly she had to destroy him to achieve it. The psychology behind this accusation reveals someone who cannot fathom that a woman could leave him, find genuine happiness elsewhere, and share honest experiences without it being a calculated attack on his character. This accusation against Christine isn't Kody's first dance with the "my ex is destroying me" narrative. It's become his signature move whenever a relationship ends, and he can't control the aftermath story. Watch the pattern emerge, and you'll see the same playbook deployed with surgical precision. When things went sideways with Mary, suddenly she was the one creating distance, being difficult, not trying hard enough. When Janelle started pulling back, the narrative shifted to her being influenced by Christine, being disloyal, not understanding his vision for the family. Now Christine's the villain who had to destroy him for love to work with someone else. Notice how in every scenario, Kody remains the consistent victim, while his ex-wives become the architects of their own relationship failures. The genius of this strategy is how it positions Kody as perpetually reasonable, while painting his former partners as either incompetent at relationships or actively malicious. He's never the common denominator in these failed marriages. He's just the unfortunate target of women who can't handle his complex life, or in Christine's case, someone who weaponizes their shared history for personal gain. This pattern reveals something crucial about how Kody processes rejection and loss of control. When a woman he's been with moves on successfully, especially publicly and happily, it challenges his entire understanding of his role in the relationship's failure. Rather than examining his own behavior or accepting that maybe he wasn't the partner these women needed, he creates elaborate explanations for why they had to make him look bad to move forward. The Christine-David situation is particularly threatening to this worldview because David appears to be everything Kody claims he is: stable, devoted, present, supportive. Christine's obvious happiness with David makes Kody's "it just didn't work out" explanation look hollow. So the only way to preserve his self-image is to argue that Christine's happiness is built on lies about him. But the pattern also reveals something else: Kody's deep awareness that his behavior during these marriages created legitimate grievances. Why else would he be so concerned about his character being destroyed? David Woolley never signed up for this public drama, and his discomfort with the entire situation is written all over his reluctant participation in Sister Wives. In early interviews, he was refreshingly honest about his position: "I never wanted to be on TV, and only participates because Christine wants me there." That admission reveals a man caught between supporting the woman he loves and protecting his own privacy from exactly this kind of public character debate. Imagine being David in this scenario. You fall in love with a woman, propose, build a life together, and suddenly her ex-husband is on magazine covers, claiming she had to destroy his reputation for you to feel comfortable loving her. You're not just dating Kody Brown, you're apparently the beneficiary of her calculated character assassination campaign against Kody, whether you knew it or not. David's silence in response to Kody's accusations isn't just diplomatic, it's self-preservation. Every word he says publicly becomes ammunition in a war he never declared. If he defends Christine too strongly, he validates Kody's claims about needing to hear bad things about the ex-husband. If he stays neutral, it might look like he agrees with Kody's version of events. If he says nothing, he appears to be the man caught in the middle of someone else's unfinished business. The irony is thick here. Kody's claiming Christine destroyed his character so David could feel secure, but Kody's public accusations are actually the thing putting David in an impossible position. David's trying to build a private life with the woman he loves, while her ex-husband makes public declarations about their relationship dynamics, and David's supposed to need to hear negative things about his predecessor. Watch David's body language and responses during Sister Wives filming, and you'll see a man who's choosing his battles carefully. He participates because Christine asks him to, but he's not volunteering information or engaging in the drama. He's protecting both his relationship and his sanity by staying above the fray that Kody's accusations are designed to create. The cruel twist is that David's respectful silence makes him look even better in comparison to Kody's public dramatics, which probably fuels Kody's frustration even more. David's reluctant participation in the Sister Wives spotlight reveals something profound about his character that Kody's accusations completely miss. This is a man who's confident enough in his relationship that he doesn't need Christine's ex-husband to look bad for him to feel secure. His discomfort isn't about the content of what Christine shares about her past, it's about having their private life dissected for public consumption. Think about what David's admission really tells us. He never wanted television exposure, which means he never needed validation from Christine's audience about being the better choice. He's not competing with Kody for public approval or trying to position himself as Christine's savior from a terrible marriage. He's just a man who fell in love with a woman and would prefer to build their life without cameras documenting every moment. This creates a fascinating contrast with Kody's accusation. Kody claims Christine had to destroy his character for David to feel comfortable, but David's own words suggest he'd be perfectly comfortable never discussing Kody at all. A man who needs his partner's ex to look bad doesn't typically avoid the spotlight where those comparisons happen. He seeks it out to showcase the difference. David's reluctance to engage with the Sister Wives narrative also protects Christine in ways that probably infuriate Kody. By not taking the bait, not defending himself against accusations he never asked for, and not participating in public back and forth about the past, David's refusing to give Kody the triangle drama that might validate his victim narrative. The fact that David's quiet confidence makes him look even more appealing compared to Kody's public defensiveness isn't lost on anyone watching this unfold. Here's a man who doesn't need to prove he's better than the previous husband. His actions and Christine's obvious happiness speak for themselves. But David's position is still precarious. Every time Kody makes another public statement about Christine needing to destroy his reputation, David gets pulled deeper into a conflict he's actively trying to avoid. He's becoming the unwilling third point in a triangle, where one corner won't stop talking about the other two. TLC's editing team has struck reality television gold with this triangle dynamic, and they're milking every uncomfortable moment for maximum drama impact. Watch how the show cuts between Kody's rants about character destruction and David's calm, measured responses to Christine's questions about their future together. The contrast isn't accidental. It's carefully crafted storytelling designed to make viewers pick sides in a conflict David never wanted to join. The editing pattern is particularly brilliant in how it positions David as the stable alternative without him ever having to say a negative word about Kody. While Kody's on camera making accusations about Christine destroying his reputation, David's shown doing normal relationship things, cooking dinner, meeting Christine's kids, planning their future together. The show doesn't need David to trash talk his predecessor when the juxtaposition does the work for them. But here's where the editing gets manipulative in ways that probably make David's skin crawl. Every time Christine mentions something positive about her relationship with David, the cameras cut to footage of her looking frustrated or exhausted during her marriage to Kody. Christine's happiness becomes evidence of Kody's failures, whether that was her intention or not. David's presence in her life is constantly framed as proof of what she was missing before. The producers are also genius at capturing David's micro-expressions during moments when Kody's accusations come up in conversation. Those split seconds of discomfort, confusion, or protective instinct toward Christine get magnified into narrative beats about a man watching his partner deal with her ex-husband's public attacks. David can't even react naturally to uncomfortable situations without it becoming part of the storyline. TLC's cameras love the moments when David has to navigate questions about Christine's past with Kody, because his diplomatic responses highlight just how undramatic he is compared to the chaos he stepped into. His refusal to engage in the mudslinging makes him look mature, which inadvertently makes Kody's public accusations look petty and desperate. The cruelest edit of all might be how the show uses David's obvious desire for privacy as evidence of his character. His reluctance to discuss intimate details becomes proof that he's the kind of man who protects his relationship, while Kody's willingness to air grievances publicly makes him look like someone who prioritizes being right over being respectful. The internet erupted the moment Kody's People magazine accusations hit social media, and the fan reactions are absolutely brutal in their assessment of his character assassination claims. Facebook groups dedicated to Sister Wives analysis are dissecting every word of Kody's statement, with seasoned viewers who've watched this family dynamic for over a decade calling out what they see as classic bitter ex-husband behavior disguised as victimhood. The most scathing responses focus on Kody's audacity in suggesting Christine had to lie about their marriage for David to love her. One viral comment thread broke it down perfectly. Kody's basically saying Christine is so fundamentally unlovable that she had to create a fictional villain version of him for another man to choose her. The disrespect is staggering. These aren't casual viewers. These are women who've watched Christine's journey from submissive, plural wife to confident, independent woman, and they're not buying Kody's revision of that transformation. Twitter threads are even more direct in their analysis. Users are posting side-by-side screenshots of Kody's current accusations against Christine versus his similar complaints about Mary and Janelle, highlighting the pattern of blame that never seems to include his own behavior as a factor. The hashtag Kody Victim Complex started trending briefly, with users sharing examples of his public statements that consistently position him as wronged rather than accountable. Reddit communities dedicated to polygamy analysis are having field days with Kody's psychological profile based on this latest accusation. Licensed therapists and relationship counselors are weighing in with observations about men who cannot process rejection without creating elaborate explanations that preserve their self-image. One particularly insightful thread explores how Kody's accusation reveals his deep insecurity about Christine's happiness with David, noting that secure men don't typically worry about their ex-partners destroying their reputation to move on. The fan reactions also reveal something interesting about public perception of David's role in this triangle. Comments consistently praise his refusal to engage in public drama while criticizing Kody for dragging him into it. David never asked to be compared to Kody, but Kody keeps forcing the comparison, reads one popular post. Every time he opens his mouth about Christine's happiness being built on lies about him, he makes David look better by contrast. YouTube channels dedicated to Sister Wives commentary are producing emergency episodes analyzing Kody's People magazine statements, with creators noting how his language choices reveal more about his mindset than he probably intended. The phrase "destroy my character" is being picked apart by communication experts who point out that people confident in their character don't typically worry about it being destroyed by their ex-partner's honest experiences. Perhaps most tellingly, the fan reactions consistently circle back to one central question. If Christine sharing her experiences from their marriage destroys Kody's character, what does that say about how he behaved during their marriage? The internet has connected those dots with surgical precision, and the conclusion isn't flattering to Kody's victim narrative. The overwhelming sentiment online seems to be that Christine didn't need to destroy Kody's character for David to feel comfortable. Kody's doing a perfectly good job of that himself with these public accusations. Christine's transformation from submissive plural wife to confident independent woman represents everything Kody's accusation is designed to undermine, and the contrast between her empowerment journey and his control tactics reveals the real battle happening beneath these public character assassination claims. For over 2 decades, Christine lived within a system where Kody's interpretation of her experiences, feelings, and needs took precedence over her own voice. Now that she's found her voice and used it honestly, he's framing that honesty as deliberate character destruction. This dynamic exposes the core issue that probably terrifies Kody most. Christine no longer needs his permission to define their shared history. During their marriage, particularly in the plural wife structure, Christine's experiences were filtered through Kody's perspective and the family's collective narrative. Her feelings about being neglected were reframed as not understanding the demands of plural marriage. Her needs for attention and emotional connection were repositioned as unrealistic expectations. Her growing unhappiness was explained as her failing to embrace the principle rather than his failing to meet her needs as a partner. But Christine's journey to independence changed all of that power dynamic permanently. When she started speaking honestly about feeling like she was married to someone who didn't really want to be married to her, when she shared her experiences of competing for scraps of attention in a family where she felt invisible, when she talked openly about the loneliness of being physically present but emotionally abandoned, she wasn't destroying Kody's character. She was reclaiming her own narrative after decades of having it controlled by someone else. Kody's accusation that Christine had to destroy his character for David to feel comfortable reveals his fundamental misunderstanding of healthy relationship dynamics. In secure partnerships, people don't need their partner's ex to look bad for them to feel valued. David doesn't need Christine to trash Kody to know he's loved and appreciated. Christine's honesty about her past isn't ammunition against her ex-husband, it's transparency about what didn't work for her so she can build something that does. The empowerment aspect of Christine's transformation goes beyond just leaving an unfulfilling marriage. She's modeling for other women what it looks like to trust your own experiences over someone else's interpretation of them. When Kody claims she destroyed his character, he's actually revealing that his character was so dependent on controlling the narrative about their relationship that her independent voice threatens its very foundation. Christine's confidence with David showcases the difference between a woman who's been convinced she's hard to love and a woman who knows she deserves genuine partnership. With Kody, she was constantly trying to earn attention, validate her worth, prove she deserved consideration. With David, she simply exists as someone worthy of love and care without having to destroy anyone else's reputation to access it. The cruelest irony in Kody's accusation is that Christine's happiness with David isn't built on making Kody look bad. It's built on finally being with someone who makes her feel valued. But for a man who controlled the narrative for so long, Christine's independent voice probably feels like destruction rather than simply truth-telling. Kody's public accusations against Christine contain a masterclass in manipulative tactics that every woman should be able to recognize, because these patterns don't just show up in polygamous marriages, they appear whenever someone refuses to accept accountability for relationship failures, and instead attacks their ex-partner's character and credibility. The first red flag is the reframing technique Kody uses throughout his People magazine statement. Notice how he transforms Christine's legitimate grievances about their marriage into calculated attacks on his reputation. This is classic manipulation, taking your partner's honest experiences and recasting them as deliberate cruelty aimed at damaging you. Women who've lived through emotionally manipulative relationships will recognize this immediately. The moment you start speaking truth about how you were treated becomes the moment you're accused of being vindictive, destructive, or deliberately hurtful. The second major warning sign is how Kody positions himself as the victim of Christine's happiness with someone else. Pay attention to the psychology here. He's not upset that their marriage ended or even that she moved on. He's upset that she's publicly happy with David, and he's framing that happiness as something that required destroying him first. This reveals a mindset where your ex-partner's joy is inherently threatening to your self-image, which suggests the relationship was always more about control than genuine partnership. The third red flag is the subtle undermining of Christine's new relationship through his comment about David. "I just hope she's chosen well." This sounds like gracious concern on the surface, but it's actually planting seeds of doubt about Christine's judgment and David's worthiness. Manipulative ex-partners often use this tactic, expressing fake concern about your new relationship while simultaneously suggesting you're incapable of making good choices without them. The fourth warning sign is how Kody's accusation completely erases his own role in their marriage's failure. Notice that nowhere in his statement does he acknowledge any behavior that might have given Christine legitimate reasons to feel neglected, undervalued, or emotionally abandoned. Instead, everything negative she experienced is reframed as either misunderstanding or deliberate character assassination. This inability to accept any responsibility for relationship problems while casting yourself as the victim of your partner's experiences is textbook emotional manipulation. The fifth red flag might be the most important: Kody's assumption that Christine needed to make him look bad for David to love her. This reveals a deeply disturbing belief that Christine isn't inherently worthy of love and devotion without first destroying her ex-husband's reputation. Women in healthy relationships know their partner doesn't need their ex to look bad to feel secure. That's not how genuine love works. Perhaps the most dangerous aspect of Kody's public manipulation is how reasonable it can sound to people who haven't experienced these tactics firsthand. He's not screaming, or obviously abusive. He's positioning himself as the reasonable party who's been unfairly maligned. But women who've navigated emotionally manipulative relationships can spot this pattern immediately: the calm, victimized tone that makes you question your own experiences and wonder if maybe you really were too harsh, too demanding, too difficult to love. Red flag checklist. Are you being told your honest experiences about the relationship are actually attacks on your ex-partner's character? That's manipulation, not accountability. David Woolley's strategic silence in response to Kody's character assassination accusations might be the most psychologically sophisticated move he could make in this impossible situation, and it's probably driving Kody absolutely crazy in ways that will only escalate the public drama. By refusing to engage with Kody's victim narrative, David's denying him the triangle conflict that would validate his claims about needing Christine to destroy his reputation for their relationship to work. Think about the chess game happening here. Kody makes public accusations designed to force David into a response, either defending Christine by attacking Kody or staying neutral in ways that might seem like agreement with Kody's version of events. But David's chosen a third option that Kody probably never anticipated: complete disengagement from the drama, while continuing to build his life with Christine. This approach makes Kody look like he's shadowboxing with someone who refuses to fight back. David's silence is also protecting Christine in ways that public defense might not. If David started making statements about Kody's behavior during the marriage, or defending Christine's right to share her experiences, it would fuel Kody's narrative about Christine needing a champion against her ex-husband. By staying out of it entirely, David's essentially saying through his actions that Christine doesn't need him to fight her battles or validate her experiences. She's perfectly capable of handling her own relationship with her ex-husband. The psychological impact of David's non-engagement probably cuts deeper than any public response could. Kody's accusations are designed to make David feel insecure about his relationship, doubt Christine's motives, or feel compelled to prove he's the better choice. David's continued confidence in their relationship and refusal to participate in public drama suggests none of those manipulation tactics are working. That level of security probably threatens Kody's entire understanding of how relationships and male competition are supposed to work. Looking ahead, this dynamic sets up several possible scenarios, none of which look particularly good for Kody's public image. If he continues making accusations about Christine destroying his character, he risks looking increasingly bitter and obsessed with his ex-wife's happiness. If he escalates the attacks to try to force David into responding, he'll appear even more desperate for validation. If he backs down, it might look like acknowledgement that his accusations weren't holding up under scrutiny. David's position, meanwhile, gets stronger with every public statement Kody makes. His refusal to engage in the drama while obviously supporting Christine makes him look mature, secure, and focused on his actual relationship rather than proving points about the previous one. The contrast between David's private happiness and Kody's public grievances becomes more stark with each People magazine exclusive. The smartest prediction for what comes next might be that Kody will eventually realize his strategy isn't working and either escalate to more dramatic accusations or pivot to a different narrative entirely. But David's silence has already won him the psychological war by refusing to fight it in the first place. Sometimes the most powerful response to manipulation is simply living your best life while declining to participate in the drama designed to undermine it. A fresh video is already queued up, and something tells me the next round of Sister Wives revelations will be even juicier than the last. Do you think Kody will eventually realize his victim narrative is backfiring spectacularly? And which response from David has you cheering the loudest, his protective silence, or his obvious happiness with Christine? Drop your thoughts below, tap like, hit subscribe, and keep those notifications on because this triangle drama is far from over.